Scotty. Hi, Scott.
Hello.
Are you sweating? I'm sweating.
Well, no, I'm fine. I don't know why though. It's just not working on the normal PC.
Are
So
you on your phone right now?
yeah, the one I'm looking at now is on my phone. Yeah.
I have a funny feeling there's something to do with, and even on the tutorials that I've looked at, it has something to do with an Apple product. So I can only do it on my iPad, or if I had an iPhone, which I'll get that one of these days, maybe I'll get a scammer to buy me one. But I guess it doesn't work on the PC, possibly so.
That makes no sense. It should.
I know. Gotta love it. So, welcome. Yay, you made it.
I did.
So, everybody, this is Scott Kufus. Do you go by Scott or Scotty?
Scotty.
Okay. Welcome, Scotty. So, I was telling him just a little bit ago that I was searching his name, and there's a ton of fakes on Instagram. I haven't even looked at Facebook yet, and you said you get like 20 or 30 a day?
Yep.
Constantly. So,
Yep.
and I know you've got one of your pages that you post a whole bunch on there. So I know that you've been used before, so probably for decades now. How long's this been going on for you?
About 4 years. Yeah, I've posted 5,600 so far. So if you go to Scott Kufus fake accounts, there's 5,600 that have been responded to or turned in to sites all over the world. Mostly Instagram and Facebook, but every dating site, every game site.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, like I said, a dozen or 2 dozen every single day.
And I know you've got several accounts. You have a business, you got personal accounts, you got a business account. So do you get contacted by the victims?
I do. I actually don't use Instagram really for anything because it's it's just used by so many scammers that it's not really that useful for me because of that. But I mean, I use it to follow my children or just following sports and stuff like that. But I really don't use it as a communication tool other than it does allow people to find me. And, after all these years, oftentimes people ask, like, why am I even on social media with thousands of violations? And it's an interesting question, but, I'm not going to let scammers from around the world impact my life. They have nothing to do with my life. So, and if I go off, they're going to keep using my pictures forever anyway. So what's the point? So they're not going to stop because I'm off the internet. My pictures are forever stuck. So I just sort of have to learn how to adapt to it. And it gives me an opportunity to help people that are in trouble. I mean, I've talked to dozens and dozens, probably, maybe 80 or 100 women at this point on the phones or through text messages or video chats, trying to walk them through what they've gone through, help them decompress a little bit. So, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's very kind of you. I know. I'm not sure how I would handle it if I was in your predicament, constantly being flooded on my inbox of strange people that I've never met. So let's take care of the formalities. So you're not on social media trolling the internet for lovers. Is that right?
No, I'm not at all. No, not at all. It's just, I get out there and I don't use it for that. I'm not on any dating sites at all. I'm not going to be out there asking people for money for airline tickets. I'm not on an oil rig or a doctor. I'm not in the military. None of those things. I'm not a widow. My kids are healthy. They don't need educations. They're not sick. Like, all the crazy stories people tell. And there's lots of them. They kind of all start out with just, people are lonely and it's nice to get attention. Somebody gives you attention. You sort of trust the process. But I really caution people the most that when you start to engage with a complete stranger that you're not doing a live interaction like this with, then it's unlikely to be true until it's proven true. Like, 90% of the time it's probably scammy until you can have a live video interaction or you're sitting there having coffee with someone face to face,
It's exactly, that is the message that we try to push out. They're talking to strangers. Why would you talk to strangers? If you find somebody interesting, if you're looking for a mate, then you tell in the first 12 to 24 hours, I need to do this to make sure I know who I'm talking to. That's it. It's a simple request. And I wish there was an easy way for me to take a poll to find out how many fakes really are there. I just have this funny feeling out of 10, 8 are going to be scammers. It's just,
Yeah, it's pretty high because it's the same
yeah,
people doing it over and over and over again, and they're spinning plates, right? They're not just talking to one lady. You know, that one person's talking to a couple dozen ladies, and
yeah.
whichever one is, you know, is the most vulnerable and
Well,
open
then
at
take
that
it.
moment in time, they'll give them that extra attention, hoping to get some sort of money.
Yeah,
But in general, you want to come across a little tougher and a little more skeptical and not so easygoing right at the beginning. You have to protect yourself. And like you just said, if it was me, and I talked to lots of people about it, if at all someone was interesting, I'd say, hey, you sound really interesting, but there's a lot of scammers. And I've had a lot, just say I have a lot of friends have gone through, you don't even have to say yourself, just I have a lot of friends that have gone through difficult things. And so I need to do this the first, like you said, 12 or 24 hours. We need to have a live video interaction and have a
exactly.
live communication back and forth so I can get a sense that you're a real person. Do you have a problem with that? If they come up with any excuse at all, I don't even care if it's one excuse.
Good.
They're done as far as I would be concerned. Like, no, you're out of here. Because like everybody has a phone, everybody, can take pictures, everybody can get access to the internet. Live
Yeah,
video is free. There's no place in the world you couldn't do it. So it's just a terrible excuse.
yeah. I've often told victims that run a dating site and you ask them for a video chat. There's only one excuse that I would think that would be acceptable, and it's I can't do it right now. I'm at work. We'll do it tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you tonight, and it better happen. If not, you swipe left and you go to the next one.
Yeah,
That's
the
it.
other thing is you can challenge people even in a short term. You don't have to, even if you didn't do the live right away. You could. It's sort of like an Easter egg hunt or a scavenger hunt. Give them a video in a picture that they wouldn't have. So if I have pictures of my kids and they're not there, they can make up stories. I have 20,000 pictures online, so you can
Yeah.
make up any story you want about me, and you could find something if you had to. But if I ask you to go, hey, I'll tell you what, go in your refrigerator, take a picture with you and your face in your refrigerator. Give me a sense you're a real person. Let me see what you like to eat. And
Yeah.
like, they're not going to have that picture. So
Nope.
now it's kind of like you put them in a box. You're going to learn either A, they can do it, or B, you're going to find out what they like to eat. Maybe they don't have anything in their refrigerator. That's a clue. Maybe you'll learn
I
something
want to
else.
swipe left for that one too.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I'm so sorry that you're targeted. You're definitely, I've seen your face come across a lot.
Yeah,
So
sure.
we'll keep doing our best to collect them and send them in. And you do the same. I mean, when you find them, send them our way. If you can't get them to close down, we've still got her contact at Facebook. So
Yeah.
for both Facebook and Instagram. So we'll do our best.
Yeah,
It's all.
I would love to maybe have you guys hook up at some point trying to do a live interaction with somebody in Facebook and yourselves, and posting out obviously to my Instagram account so they could really see it firsthand. I mean, the problem is Facebook's automated response process is horrendous. So
Yeah.
what I think is sad is I've reported, let's say I reported 1,000 of these, like 700 of them get denied because they're not violating the policies and procedures of Facebook. And I'm like, I'm basically saying they're stealing my identity and say, no, there's nothing wrong. Like, yeah, there's something wrong. That's my face and my kids, and that's not me.
Yeah.
And because it's automated, so there needs to be
There's
another
not a lot.
escalation process. And,
Yeah.
and they probably could do a better job. I get a variety of emails from Facebook that says, hey, this person, reported this pretending to be you. We'll look into it and do the
Oh,
appropriate thing. But they should tag the actual site and say, is this you? Are they in violation of you? If I actually saw it, I can agree, like, yes, it is. Like, there would be
yeah.
another witness to the process. As it stands, when they get denied, I can't do anything about it because I don't even know which one got denied.
Yeah.
So they're just stuck there. Like you just said today on Instagram, which is also Facebook. They're the same company, Meta.
Yeah.
There's dozens every day, and the sad thing is they allow people to create a site without a face. So my name will be there 9 times with no picture, and they're placeholders. And then as soon as another account gets knocked out, they just add some more pictures
Yeah.
and they're off and running again. So it's very unfortunate.
It's strange. I wish I could work in
Yeah.
Facebook it was for 90 days just to see this process. How does this even happen, you know? But I know that their algorithms are, and it is an automated system. So I was talking to somebody last night and they were saying that, you know, they're always get this report that it's not violating their community standards. I don't even read those things. I don't read the reports anymore. It matters none to me. All I care about is getting that report closed, that profile closed. That's all that I care about. And if it doesn't close, then I'm, you know, of course, we copy it and we send it on into Ruth and she handles it. So it, unfortunately, there is no human person when we're sending these out just to the computer.
My biggest concern, and I think the message, it's the biggest, most important thing for all women and men. I'm sure it happens to men too the other way. But I think the number one thing is it makes no sense at all that a total stranger that you don't even know asked you for money at all. Like if I went on a date with you tonight and we went out to dinner, and like at the end of dinner, I'm like, hey, could I borrow $100 this week because my daughter, you know, needs a gift card for music and I don't get paid till like, would that ever happen? Would you be like, yeah, that makes sense to me? Or if you met me on a park at Starbucks, I'd be like, hey, would you give me $400 so I can get airfare to go do something? Like none of that makes any sense. You don't want to start a relationship with somebody who's already, you know, trying to get $500, $1,000, $200. Like that's just a bad decision-making process. So I think everyone needs to evaluate their standards and say, hey, I'm better than that. I deserve more than that. And, you know, I can let that go.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, you know, speaking to so many victims, it's the dream. They're living the dream and they want the dream and they will go to great lengths. The harder part for me is when I'm watching them literally self-destruct and they're literally separating from their family. Those are the hardest ones for me. You know, a single person, if that's what they're going to do to themselves, it doesn't, it's just crazy the great lengths that they will go through to get the dream. Is somebody saying something? Good day to you.
No, I was just curious if they had any questions, but you know,
I
mean, often too, I think a lot of times it's the big, it's the family secret, right? So they gave money and they're ashamed. They don't want to tell anybody. So what happens is it starts off with just a small amount of money. It's $50 or $200, and they get sucked into more and more. Eventually, such a large number, they don't want to tell anybody. I mean, I did talk to a lady that gave $31,000 to a guy. I mean, many people have given $1,000 to $5,000. And I had a broker from TD Waterhouse call me that wanted to wire me $109,000. And he just wanted to verify because it was an odd amount for her client. And I'm like, no, that's a scam. You know, I wish, you know, I wish the FBI could get the people. But what ends up happening is this money gets wired to another country or through a third party. You know, it's very difficult to catch them. They do catch some of them. There has been some positive stories on the other side, but very rarely.
It's just, to me, I have this funny feeling that those are the ones that don't pay off their government because their government is corrupt. I mean, we're talking millions of scammers in their country, and that's all you're going to report on is 11 got busted today. Come on. So I'm thinking that, you know, and I have had conversations with actual scammers, and their government is corrupt. So I believe that they're also pay me, and I'll walk away. You know, I mean, they're out that's the thing, this crime, they're out in the open and they're not even hiding. What other crime do you know of that's out and so visual to everybody?
Well, part of the challenge though is the jurisdiction issue of the police. So like I've personally gone to my local police station and talked with various national agencies about different people that got scammed. And I went in there to talk to them about it. And they're like, look, you can't prosecute anything unless it's in this county. So like, unless you can prove if you're sending them money in your county or even within your state, you might have a chance through the police departments if it's really well organized. But outside of that, it's impossible. And usually a third party's, you know, collecting it. What people can do, and the majority of these are not happening in the United States anyway. They really are happening in Africa or in China. You can have settings on your Facebook page or Instagram page blocking other countries from seeing you, and you can do it. And so people go into profiles. You can actually, through privacy, you go down through settings of privacy. You can block whole countries. So you can just block
Nice.
Nigeria, which is a big problem, or
Yep.
China. Like, if you don't know anyone in Nigeria or China, then nobody needs to know you either. And so you can
Exactly.
just think about all the countries in the world you don't really know anyone, and you don't need them to see you, and that will help protect you too. And you know, I've done that, and it keeps. I used to get almost every day people from Nigeria trying to friend me, and you know, they're Africans, and they start off with a picture of someone who looks American, but if you look in their profile, it'll be like 25
Right.
pictures of, you know, all of their friends in Africa. And so, you know, I just block them. I have hundreds of blocked accounts from
Yeah.
Nigeria, but I also blocked Nigeria, so I don't get that many anymore. I used to get a lot, but now I don't. So you know, I recommend people look at their security settings, privacy settings, and see if maybe there's some countries you just
Nice.
figure it out.
Great tip. I'll remember that to pass that along as
Yeah.
well. Do you ever have any issues with some of the victims contacting you and not wanting to believe that they weren't talking to you?
Yeah, all different things happen with the victims. So sometimes it'll be the family members of the victims that contact me first, like, hey, my mom thinks she loves you, or there's a scammer, she won't believe me, but I see that you are a real person, but it's a different person when you talk to them. Or they start off angry, well, I'm really mad at you. How come you've been ghosting me? You're not talking to me anymore. Oh, here, I found you over here. I see you're using a new name this time, kind of thing. So some people come at me pretty angry and upset. So I have to, each one of those a little different, and how I have to maybe manage it. In some cases, I have an auto responding kind of message just to let them know, like, this is a common thing. If you're trying to reach me for these purposes, like, this happens. I'm sorry. If you
That's
want to,
exactly how. That's
yeah,
exactly.
I try to manage it in some way to give them a response and not ignore them.
Especially if you're getting 50 a week, or more than
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking that I would do, is do an auto response.
Yeah.
And just go right down the bullet points, and be
Yeah.
done. I'm sure you've got other things to do with your life.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, I don't let it bother me on a daily basis. If someone gets through that and really asks questions over and over again, I try to satisfy that, just because, they're frustrated, or I just need to end that communication. Like, I want to reduce that stress. I don't know who they are, and maybe they're upset, maybe they're emotional. I've had husbands, and stuff, and other things too. Just reach out. You never know in today's world. It's a very scary place. So
yeah, it is.
I try to be, kind and understanding and empathetic at first, for my own safety, I think, more than anything, and just be aware of, what I'm dealing with.
Super. And I also want to say, what is today's date? We are at January 26, 2022. So if we happen to use this short little clip to send victims, that's okay with you?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, I'm good.
It's funny because we will send these to victims, and then of course the victim runs over to the scammer. It's like, what is the meaning of this? Look what I have. And of course they're spin it and they say, well, I already know about that. I made that under duress, and it's ridiculous. The things that scammers will rebuttal with, and the fact that the smitten kitten just sucks it right in, and we're back into it, So yeah. It's a sad, horrific crime. There's no doubt about it. They've got this well reached.
I would say also too, don't believe, there is no level of documentation you can see online that's actual real. Like, they falsify passports and driver's licenses, and legalization documents, and airline tickets. It just goes on and on and on. I've seen myself in a video that I didn't create, like stuff like that.
Did you really?
Yeah. So it can get pretty elaborate. I just so just don't trust any of that documentation at all. Nobody's gonna send you, anyone sane is going to send you their passport information and driver's license information to a total stranger. That makes no sense. Well, would you ever do that? Like, don't ever send your passport pictures and numbers and driver's licenses to people. So it's just crazy, The other thing that they try to do once they get in a dialogue with you, and this is just total abuse, people don't see this, is they want to make the woman feel bad that they're not responding. You don't trust me. And then, like, you have to, you don't trust me. When are you going to you're never going to find a man if you don't like someone like me. And like, I'm the one you can trust. I'm fighting for us. And like, they want to flip it like you're the bad person because you don't believe them. And that's just an abusive situation going in, and people again need to be really aware of these toxic people. You know, if you don't feel they're making you feel happy, then forget it. You know, if someone asks you for money, ask them to send you money. Like, yeah, I need $500. Say, yeah, I need $500 too. Like, I'll tell you what, why did you send me $500? Let's get started off on a good start. Like, it's just so silly.
It is. It's crazy. The things that we hear and that people will accept. I had a victim last night, and she was adamant. Well, he sent me his driver's license, and all I could say to her was, "And so?" And she says, "Well, why would he send that to me?" Okay, to make you feel that this is real. So it all depends. There's, we've got. It's sad, Scotty. It really is sad. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this, your time doing this, you're really a kind person. I'm super happy that you're here and able to spread the word and help that we can. And I'm hoping something will change, mostly with society and our government, to be able to come up with some different campaigns, to be able to, if I say dial 911, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I want our government and other officials to come up with more awareness of what this is all about. I mean, I was telling somebody that for 2021, all of last year, when we get people telling us that they've been scammed a lot, and a handful of people tell us how much they lost, I've already captured over $34 million of combined losses out of 963 people.
Yeah.
That's just rock in the bucket,
Sure.
So, and it's why.
I think if it's possible, sometimes the government's a lot slower than people like Ellen DeGeneres. Like, I think if anybody who's watching this video has any contacts with any of the very large, Rachel Ray's, anybody has Dr. Phil, anybody that has an audience of several million people watching TV in the middle of the day, those videos can last a very long time and be very useful. So, I mean, I certainly know I'd be willing to go on and offer any support to create a real story. I have an amazing story, and a lot of interesting things happened. And you guys are doing so much good, helping so many women. So, I appreciate you and happy to, reach out and talk to people whenever I can, and, support everybody out there. I'm sorry that there's so many bad people, but there's bad people in every industry, every country, every city. We just have to be more diligent and careful. That's all. We just have to be careful and protect ourselves.
It's just a crime of opportunity for them. For them, it's not personal. It's nothing but business. For us, it is personal. And we do have to have a different shift in mindset of how we view the internet, which happens to be one of the most dangerous places to be.
Sure.
That's it. So thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate it. We wish you well.
Thank you. And to everybody out there, thanks for jumping on. It's good to see so many people jumping on from all over the world, everywhere, clicking in and saying hi, and, different people from different countries, different cities and states. And, you're all part of this community. You're all here for a reason. Either something happened to you or someone or someone you love. You want to protect someone. That's a good thing. And so, keep sharing the news, tag people when you can, and just make them more aware. The more people are aware, then the better our community and the better our country will be. And we all have to take care of each other, so it's a tough situation.
Amen, brother.
Good night, everybody.
Okay, good night. Take care. Have a good night.
You bet.
Thank you, Scotty. Bye.